So will I start with some experiences then? Shall I start with my first experience of spirituality?
You start with your first experience, or you can first start with you saying who you are and
Alright,
okay,
my name's Craig, and I'm 60 years old. And when I was 44, I got diagnosed with a severely chronic illness in my lungs.
Oh my God.
And basically for the next 5 years I was in and out of the hospital, they were looking at me. And then when I was 49, he said to me, there's nothing we can do. You know, you brought it on yourself, sort of thing. And it's just, your lungs are no good anymore. And I was so ill at the time, if I ate food, I couldn't breathe. So I lost a lot of weight. It was a choice of eating or not eating and being able to breathe. Because when I ate, the food took all the oxygen out of my lungs. And I was also really mentally down. I was a really anxious man. And in the summer of 2011, I was in a really terrible state. And I'd never been to church. When I was a small child I was christened a Catholic. But that long gone. So I wasn't spiritual in any way, shape or form. I didn't meditate. I never even heard the word meditation. And this night, it was about 2:30 in the morning, and I was really depressed. I'd had an infection in my chest for 7 months, and the hospital put me on antibiotics for 12 months to try to clear it up.
Okay.
And it just wasn't clearing up. I just couldn't breathe. And I started to think about what happens when I die.
Okay.
Where am I going to go?
Yeah.
And because of I've had a Christian upbringing, and because of the life I lived, I was clearly going to hell. Because the church had told me I was going to hell. And I started thinking, well, I've lived a hellish life these last 49 years. I've been hell. And now I'm going to hell. I was thinking, how unlucky am I?
I was there, where I am going.
So I was just really depressed because I thought, I'm living in hell, I've been in hell, and I'm going to another hell, basically. And I decided to pray to God. What I was going to say, this is what I was going to say to him. I was going to say to him, if you let me just give me a second chance at life, basically. But what I was going to say, let me have some memory of this life.
Okay.
So in my next life, I wouldn't make the same mistakes. That was basically me plan. That's what I was going to say. And when I prayed to him and asked for this second chance, I had a physical reaction.
Okay.
And a mental reaction. But I didn't really get onto the mental reaction at first. That come later. I realised how important that mental reaction was. But the physical reaction,
yeah, I could understand, Craig.
you believe in stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
So I had this idea of God that lived in heaven, and he was, it was a Hollywood version of God. He was a man that judged you. And when this physical reaction come, and I asked him for a second chance, it was like someone picked me up.
Okay.
So I'm in a flat on my own, and it's like someone physically picked me up. I felt like an energy come in and go over my shoulders and go into the base of my spine.
Oh my God.
And sort of lift me. And it must have only happened for a moment. But I sat back down on the couch, and my mind started saying, that never happened. But it couldn't convince me because I felt it. It did happen. And it was such a shock to realise that something that maybe you believed in or maybe you didn't was actually real. I just prayed to God and I'd had a physical reaction. But my mind started saying, no, you're going insane. So I sat down for the rest of the night thinking, do you go insane immediately, or do you go insane over time? This is the way it was going. This is the way my mind had me thinking. But about 2 hours after it happened, my chest started clearing up.
Oh, that's miraculous.
The infection went. So it was like a double whammy on the mind. It couldn't convince me then that this didn't happen. And, it wasn't my imagination.
Okay.
It actually happened, you know what I mean?
Of course, but you've been diagnosed for like how long years you've been suffering with that?
Up to that point, I was 49 and I'd been diagnosed 5 years previously.
5 years. So it can't be a joke. Like you experienced something and within 2 hours, everything started becoming normal.
No, I wouldn't say it went normal. I wouldn't say I had a miraculous healing. It wasn't like that. I started feeling better.
Feeling better, yeah.
Yeah, I started feeling the chest infection cleared up.
Okay.
And I didn't get another one for 3 years. Now I was suffering with them all the time. So it was a 3-year break. So I didn't get a miraculous healing. And now I understand why. And as we go on, I'll explain things like that to you. But what I did get, that was miraculous, was a mental healing. It was my whole mindset from that moment on changed. We were coming up to 2012. I'd listened to the Mayan prophecy, and I thought the world was going to end in 2012.
Yeah.
And so my 50th birthday was in September, and this happened like maybe a month before, in August or something like that. This happened, and I decided to take all my family on holiday for my 50th birthday. I thought, well, if we're all going to die, we will get together and have a party before we die.
Yeah.
But I come back totally different. I come back like, how can I say, reborn again. Best way to put it.
After the party.
Not after the party, after this occasion, but it didn't like, it switched me over time. So it took me a time to realise what happened to me. Because I can't explain it to you.
Yeah, because it happened on 2012, the experience that you underwent.
Yeah.
Okay, it was on 2012.
Yeah.
Exactly the time where...
Not exactly the time. What I was thinking at the time, I was thinking the world was going to end. And after this experience, I decided to go on holiday with my family, and everyone started cheering up. I started lifting myself without me knowing it. So it was the experience of what had happened started lifting me.
Got it.
And everything, my whole mental started to change. I stopped eating meat. I stopped eating fish. I stopped drinking alcohol. The job I was doing, not that I was working, but I had people working for me. It was a very negative job, packed it in straight away. That went out the window. So all my friends that I used to go around with that, they all disappeared. My whole life totally changed immensely, just totally. I'd become more of a loner, even though I'd always been a bit of a loner. It was more, I went inside then, because the experience was so powerful. I didn't want nothing else. But God, you know what I mean?
God.
And I wanted another experience. But I didn't know how to get that experience. The only thing I knew was how to pray. So I was praying, and I come across a program on the telly about George Harrison.
George Harrison, yeah. The Beatle, yeah.
Yeah, now this is the first time I'd ever heard about meditation. What his wife said, she was with him when he died. And when he died, she said the whole room lit up. So I was thinking, this man's really lucky. He had a fantastic life. As soon as he died, he's off to heaven. This is how naive I was.
Yeah.
And my experience was the opposite of that. I thought I was dying, I was going to hell. But what she said, what stood out on that whole 3 hour, whatever it was, he used to meditate all the time. And then it showed the clips of him meditating, and you just seen him in a cross-legged position, hands on his lap, eyes closed. Okay, that's how you meditate. And I started to meditate, and obviously my mind was like it's trained, thoughts were still. And I realised that once I started looking at my mind, I started thinking, why am I thinking negative thoughts all the time? And gradually through meditation, I could slow my mind down. And I started to see that most of my thoughts were negative.
Yeah.
And this is what created my illness, the way I thought.
Okay.
So I knew I had to change. And for 18 months, I just stayed on my own, just meditating, just doing that. And then I got an urge to meet people. But everyone I knew didn't meditate. I didn't know one single person that meditated.
At those times, yeah.
So I didn't know. So I thought I'll go abroad and look for somewhere. And India popped up.
Okay. The land of spirituality, what they used to say.
Yeah. And I looked on Google at things or whatever I was looking at.
Okay.
And I seen a lady from England, but she was walking along the beach in India. And it was called, her name was Vanessa Tucker. And it was called Walk Your Talk Retreats. And I just got instantly attracted to it. And it was this was January now. And a year later from my first experience, I just thought I want to go there, and I got the urge to go. So I went on the site, and you have to book a year before. So I thought I've missed it, you know what I mean? So and it was ending in February.
Okay.
So I just sent her an email, and she said, "You've got one space left for next month." So I had 4 weeks to organise it, pay for it, organise it, get me visa. Well, you know when things are meant to happen, they just happen, don't they?
Isn't it? Yeah.
It just happened, and it took me a couple of weeks to sort it all out. And then I sat down and realised, what am I doing? I'm going to India. I don't know anyone. I don't know how to speak the language, you know what I mean? And then my mind started playing, going, what are you doing? What are you doing this for? But I ended up going, and I just put my trust in what was happening. And I booked this retreat for a week, but I didn't want to stay for a week. I wanted to stay for just a couple of weeks. So I didn't know what was going to happen in the second week. I just thought, I'll find out once I get there. I'll do something when I get there. I didn't plan anything. And the first week, I met all different spiritual people for the first time. And this lady taught me how to meditate with mine had always been silent. That's all I knew, silent meditation. I'd read a book about Osho.
Yeah.
And he talked about the silent meditation. And I was actually practicing it at that time. And I'd never, like I said, I'd never known anyone. So I really connected with him and what he was saying in this book. And then I went to India, met this lady. She taught me different ways to meditate, which was really interesting. In one of the meditations, she talked us into going into a room. And when I went in this room, I seen the roots of a tree.
Okay.
But not in the bud, the roots are on their own. And when I went up to this root, there was a red cushion underneath it as well. I used to always meditate on a red cushion. And when I went up to this tree, this root, I started stroking it with my hand. And when I stroked it with my hand, my hand was full of gold flake.
Okay.
And my children were sitting in the room. They couldn't see me at the back of them. And I was taking the gold flake off the tree and sprinkling the gold flake over them. And then I moved to the cushion. And when I sat in the cushion and looked up, it was the universe inside this tree.
Wow.
And it blew my mind. I was just amazed. And then she told me she'd done healings. And I said, I need a healing. Now I didn't know I needed healing, didn't know people could heal you. And after the week long retreat, I stayed on for another week with her. This was quite she gave me a healing a couple of days after the retreat. And I was laying down on the bed, and she's a Reiki. She does Reiki. So she was doing a Reiki with me. But as soon as I laid down, I went straight into a deep meditation. I can't remember her doing anything. And while I was in this meditation, it was like I was in a place that was like full of mist, say.
Okay. So it's like when you meditate, you feel these things, like you...
No, I don't bring these on. I've got no idea how these things happen.
Okay. So you start to meditate, and immediately you...
I didn't even know I was going to meditate. I just laid down. I go with the unknown. I've had lots of experiences with the unknown.
Okay.
But I don't know how it happens. It's usually I'll go into a meditative position, but it's not like I sit there and I go into it. As soon as I close my eyes, it's like I've gone. It happens, whatever's going to happen, it happens.
Okay.
And it was one of those experiences. As soon as I laid down, she even said to me afterwards, she said, I don't know where you went, but you definitely went somewhere.
Okay.
But I'll tell you where I went. I went into this space and it was all misty. And then in this mist, I noticed there was 3 figures. And it was like, can you imagine, they were made of the same mist, but they were the shape of 3 figures.
Okay.
And I knew they were discussing me. So I wanted to try get them to hear what they were saying, but they just kept saying to me, it's going to be okay, don't worry, it's going to be okay. But that wasn't enough. I wanted to hear what they were saying. And as I tried to make way to them, I fell. And I fell back into the room. And I woke up and I remember sitting up and looking at it, thinking, where am I? And then went straight back into the meditation.
Okay.
And the 3 figures were there again. And next minute I just experienced this intense light. And I knew it filled my body. And that was obviously the healing. It just, a flash of light, just a quick flash, but totally intense.
Lovely.
And I thanked them because I knew they'd healed me. So I thanked them.
Yeah, take your time, Craig. Yeah, I could feel that of the truth that you are saying. Yeah, you can't express, isn't it? Yeah.
So I thanked them. And next minute I felt some pressure on my big toe, and it was Vanessa waking me up. That's the way she get you out the meditation. She was waking me up, bringing me back into the room. And I had all crystals on my body then, up and down my body. And she said to me, she said, Craig, she said, you had this darkness in your solar plexus. She said I couldn't get rid of it. She said it was like tar. She said it was really gooey and sticky. And she said no matter what I'd done, I couldn't get it out of your body. This dark energy that was in your body. And then she said to me, your mother and father come. And the Archangel Michael, the healing angel.
Oh, lovely.
But I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't see them 3 figures as that. I didn't see them as...
That's mystic.
I seen them as these 3 figures, but I didn't know what they were at the time. But I didn't see them as my mother, my father, and an angel. But that's how she seen them. And she said they give me instruction on what to do to get rid of this energy because I couldn't get rid of it. And she said I had to use certain crystals on you then. And then she said the energy come out. She said it got out, they removed it, she told me what to do, they removed it. And she said to me, you need to thank them. And I said to her, I've already thanked them. And she was shocked.
Oh my God.
Because we were both in the same place. She was seeing it and I was seeing it. But you know, we recognised these 3 figures as different. To her, they were my mother, father and an angel. To me, mind, body and soul. Representation of that. That's what I see these 3 figures at. And that was the first time they ever come to me, these 3 figures. But it wasn't the last. I've had quite a few visits of these 3 figures. Yeah. But that was a really fantastic healing. But what was odd in the morning, I was doing a movement meditation on the beach with their partner. He teaches it's the Chinese Qigong.
Okay, yeah, I shared about that.
He was teaching me that, and it was him that put me in touch with the chi in the atmosphere and the trees and all that. It was him that put me onto it, and now I've felt it lots of times, you know what I mean? But it was my first experience of feeling this energy that's in us, also outside of us. And when he was putting me through the movements, obviously my eyes are closed, and we were just about to finish the session, and then all of a sudden he said, no, go through that routine again. So I started going through the routine again, And he said to me, Craig, open your eyes and turn around. And as I opened my eyes and turned around, there was a massive snake going into the rocks. And he said, when we were doing movement, he said, I opened my eyes and he said, this snake was right by your ankle, sniffing you with its tongue out, tasting you.
Oh my God.
And he said to me, do you know what it means? And I said, no. And he said, it means healing, you're getting a healing. And I got that healing a couple of hours later. So no, you talk about synchronicity. There's a prime example of it.
Of course.
Yeah, but it was, and after that then things really started moving much more. I needed to get rid of this energy. And I'll tell you what the energy was. I'll tell you exactly what it was. My parents died when I was quite young. And my father had left when I was 5, died when I was 16.
Okay.
My mother died about 4 or 5 years later. And I felt like I had so much hate inside me, losing my parents and all that, losing my way a bit. But instead of sorting it out, I used to have a box inside me, a big chest, and I used to open it, put all my hate inside, and lock it up. And your solar plexus, that's all your feelings in your solar plexus, and that's where I kept it. I didn't know that. This is what she told me what it was, but that energy was that box. Every time I got hurt right through over the next 50 years, I wouldn't deal with it. I just put it inside this box and put bigger padlocks on it and a big sign saying don't open. And because I didn't deal with them, that's what caused me illness.
Oh, okay.
That's what destroyed my lungs.
Sorry, what do you mean when you say solar plexus? I am not aware of the term.
So it's solar plexus. It's you've got 7 major energy points, haven't you?
Yeah, the chakras.
Yeah, your chakras. Yeah.
Okay.
So the solar plexus here, and that's one of your chakras.
Yeah, the Manipuraka.
Yeah, and that deals with your emotions. And I haven't been dealing with my emotions. I've been locking them away. So when she opened the box, when I got that healing, it didn't want to leave. It'd been in there for that long.
Yeah.
It turned into a really dark, sticky energy. And she couldn't get rid of it at first until she got some advice, you know what I mean? But yeah, she's a wonderful woman, know what I mean? She opened my eyes to a lot of it, you know. I and her husband, like, it was, and funny enough, I've just heard off a lady from there. I haven't heard off of her. That was in 2014.
Okay.
And she's an artist and a painter and all that. And she sent me an email only maybe 2-3 weeks ago, asking could she use a song. She wrote a song about me, you see, at that time, because she said I had so much faith that, you know, it inspired her. And it was just because of what happened to me. I just told her, you know, you pray and when you realise God's actually real. And when I say God, you know, people might think, oh God, because it's got such a terrible reputation with the religion, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about something that can't be named.
Got it.
But we named
the loving energy.
Well, the Chinese call it the Tao, you know. I call it God, but people call it consciousness. So it's whatever name you want to put to it. But it can't be named. So it doesn't matter what name you put on it, because
each one it differs, I think.
Yeah, if you put a name onto it, you're making it into something, and it's not. You can't make it into
an experience.
Something. So when I speak of God, that's what I'm speaking about. I'm not speaking about a Hollywood version of God, man with a white beard or
someone judging at the end of the day.
I'm judging, yeah. No, I'm not talking about that.
Of course, He wanted us even to be non-judging people. In that case, how come He will judge us?
Well, that's what I realised. Well, if God was prepared to help me, I'm not special. I realised it's there for everyone, and that's what really opened me up. Because I always thought you had to be special, you had to be a saint, or you have to be this or that. You have to go to church every whatever to know God. And that's
it's there, it's everywhere.
That's a total lie. Well, that's just a total lie. That's just that's just man's thoughts, or that's just ridiculous. That's people that just, I don't know. I don't think you'll never find God through someone else. You only find God through yourself. And God's not a thought or a belief. God's an experience. And I heard that quote a number. I don't know who actually said the quote, but I heard someone say on my journey maybe 6-7 years ago. I'd read it somewhere, and someone said, "God's not a belief; it's an experience." And if the words couldn't be more true, it's really, But at the same time, it's a real shock as well, because it's like you just I can't explain it to you, but it's like you start thinking about all the things you've done. You think, oh my goodness, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's not about that, you know what I mean? It's about you recognising, who you are, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying, you're God. It's like, but at the same time you are.
Okay.
Because he's everything. There's nothing he isn't. He's all things. But also, he's not. It's like love. Yeah, let me explain it to you. Like love, people turn around and say, I love this and I love that. That's not love. Love has no need to love. Love is totally needless. It doesn't have any type of need.
Got it.
And that's what God is.
And it's even we are made up of that, which maybe sometimes we never experience because of our, the mind or whatever. And if we experience that love within us, and that's what God is.
Well, yeah. When I started trying to work out, because I was on a journey to find God. All I wanted was God, but I didn't know how to get in touch with God. You know what I mean? The only way I knew is I'd sit in meditation, quiet myself down, and things would happen.
Yeah.
But there was obviously long periods when nothing happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a vision or nothing would happen. You know what I mean? So that's when I started looking at how everything works and how I'd come to be this person, how I'd come to be created. Craig and that. And Craig's a total fabrication of the mind. How Craig's being created and you is by our ancestors.
Yeah.
So we've talked about karma before, and a lot of religions will say they'll greet you like this rather than like that, because they don't want to take your karma on. So I don't see karma like that. Karma's in your DNA, and it's passed down through your family and you. So if you break the cycle, your karma, and break it and clear all your karma up, you're not over just doing yours, you're doing all your ancestors. Everything that's gone before you. You know what I mean? You're clearing it all, because you're a sum total of that. And now you're being created is through the mind, through that. The way you think, the way you act.
And when you say ancestors, we were also them, I would imagine?
Yeah,
we were them.
We are them. Yeah, exactly. When your father and mother get together, and the seed goes into your mother, that's come from your father. Okay. You're created from your father. This is the physical sense, and your mother. So you're taking both their karmas on.
Got it.
And my mother was submissive, and my father was dominant, So for me to evolve myself, I had to learn not to be submissive to anyone, but also not to be dominant over anyone.
You
know what I mean? And this is the only way you can evolve. You'll never evolve if you're dominant over anyone or you're submissive. So it's finding that middle path.
Got it.
And once you find that middle path, you won't get attracted to light or dark. You'll see them for what they are. See, so everyone thinks like, oh my, the light is everything.
Okay.
But it is, I'm not saying it's not. But what it is, it's about balance. And it's finding that middle path. Because if you just go to the light and ignore all the dark, you've got no roots. And this is what it explains about them roots I've seen in that. So that's the roots, So I had to connect the tree above with the roots below.
Okay.
So above, so below. and that's your tree. You've got to connect them together. But most people aren't, because it's separate.
Okay.
Because the way they think, because they're always taking sides.
Got it.
And if you look at society, the way it's built on separation. In governments, we'll have a Labour Party and a Conservative Party, and get you pick one or the other. So you can't have a balanced view on politics, because you're taking one side against the other. Okay. That's no good. Religions, Christianity, Muslim, being at war for years, because you're taking one side, and that's, I don't know if you've read the Quran and that.
Yeah.
But I've read parts of the Holy Quran. Muhammad showed me poetry. Jesus gave me insights.
Okay.
Buddha gave me revelations. Yeah. But it was Leto, the Taoist, who showed me the way. So that's one man I'd advise to read. Because he just, it was the first real spiritual book that I just poured my heart into.
Taoist?
It's a Taoist, yeah.
Okay.
And they call it the way. And it truly is. He teaches you, to take that middle path. And like I say, I've took all great insights off all the others, out of the Quran, out of the Bible, from Buddha's. Like the greatest one Buddha ever gave us, which I thought was just amazing, was that when he was sitting under that tree, he realised these thoughts that were going through his mind, they weren't his, but they didn't belong to anyone else either.
Yeah.
And he was, he was one of the first to see that, and he gave this teaching to the world, and it's just.
And he still lives.
Once you grasp that, it's just fantastic, and then you won't be controlled by them thoughts in your mind, and because they don't belong to you. Yeah. But we just assume that we do. It's same as your senses. You have these 5 senses, and I'm touching my legs now, I can feel them. I'm using them to listen, speak. But what have I told you, they're not yours.
Yeah, we are using them, but we are not that.
No, what it is using them.
Exactly. The consciousness is using these things. The experience. So the consciousness is using the mind as a tool to do things, maybe. But the mind is not me.
Well, the mind, the polarity of the mind gives all the different characters. So that's using it, and it's experienced through lots of different. So we can have a conversation like that. Because if we're all the same, we'd be like robots, really. Yeah. So now
there is no thrilling or no adventure.
Yeah. So it sounds strange, but I suppose it's a massive play. It's entertainment.
As you said, play. Yeah. We used to call it Leela. Or play.
Yeah.
Kind of. I take things like this. Like it's how to say, for example. Okay, imagine. Okay, Craig was there. He born as a wise person. He was always good to everyone. He had always nice jobs and nice things. And finally he did. He took care of his children very nice, as Then now he finished his life and he went for another day. But okay, it's not interesting. But if there is a Craig which had a hard experience, he went through for 45 years difficult experiences, and then he was true to himself. He just wanted to be to experience who he was when he was something like this. He didn't lie. He was very innocent, and then it happened to him because he just wanted to be, and it happened to him. And now he is more connected to him, and he see life as one. Everything is there, so so this is kind of how to say, it's more interesting than so that's how I am looking life at. It's all play, and maybe this time you took this kind of journey. Maybe in another life you will take a different sort of journey.
Yeah, you should imagine so. Yeah, because I'll tell you something else now. You've never died, and you never will do. That is a total lie. That's been 90% or 95% of the planet believe.
Got it.
You'll never die, and you've never died. That's just...
That's only existence.
Yeah, there's only... You've never been born, so you can't die. It's always been. It's always been.
Amazing, isn't it, to understand?
Do you want me to tell you the first memory, the oldest memory I've got?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to tell you about this, and this is not a personal memory, and you'll understand why if you can grasp what I'm saying. I sat down to watch a satsang from India on the TV, and I sat in my meditation position to watch it, but the telly froze. It just stopped. It never done this before, and I just remember closing my eyes and I was gone again. It always happens that quick. It's never. I never ever do anything. I've got absolutely no control. No, it just happens. And in my meditative states, I've been to like peaceful spots inside me where it's just, I'm in that void. There's no noise. I'm alone, and it's peaceful. But this time, it was something. It was way beyond what I'd ever experienced. I've only experienced this place once, and I've never been back. It was just this one time. But I've visited that void many times, but not like on this occasion. So I'm in the void, there's nothing there, but the stillness, it's just on a different level to anything I'd ever experienced before. And I could feel an arm around my shoulder. It's like, let's say your dad taking you out and he's explaining something to you, and you're a little boy, he's got his arm around you. That sort of experience, but there's nothing there. But this is what I'm feeling. And then the sound speaks to me. There's no words, but this is what comes up inside me. This is where Earth is, but there's nothing there. But this is where Earth's going to be. So Earth hadn't been created at this time. And then we move back, and a mask appears. Remember them little masks that were opposite where years ago they'd have the black and white shirts on, they'd have a little black mask like that. Very ancient, old, comic strip type of thief. So one of them appeared. And at first, for the first few years after that, I used to think it was, this is where I'd watch Earth from. But that wasn't the meaning. The meaning was, for me to know this Earth, I'd have to put a mask on. Yeah. To
not knowing who the real you are, but...
Well, when I was looking at there, I had no mask on. So it was pure consciousness showing me, but there was no Earth there. Earth hadn't been created. And for me to see Earth, I'd have to put a mask on.
Okay.
And the mask is the skin, the body. And then Earth would appear. So that's my oldest memory. And like I say, there's no way of me explaining to you, but the personal is not there. So that memory is in all of us. We've all got that memory inside us.
Okay. And
I have spoke to a man that does past life regression. And he started telling me this story. And he said to me, you won't believe this. And he started talking about a woman that he put under past regression. And she started talking about something very similar. She didn't have the arm round or someone explained it, but in a space before Earth was created.
Can't be a coincidence, or...
No, I don't believe in coincidence. There's no such thing as a
coincidence. There's no such thing.
Yeah.
A real proof.
Yeah. But that's definitely a memory that we all have.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We've all been through that. Without a doubt.
Thanks for this wonderful revelation, Craig.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God.
So this is what I'm trying to say. This is how old we are.
You know ancient.
Oh, we're totally ancient. Yes, we're totally ancient. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Osho used to say like that. How old you are? They ask. I am ancient. I was there. I am here. I will always there.
Yeah. And not just me, but you too.
Exactly.
There's no difference between me and you. It just appears that there is, but there isn't. There really isn't.
You are right, Craig. Thank you so much for all this nice sharing. And so if I understand from what I can take out of your experiences, to be truthful, like to express or to know the feeling of ourselves, what we need, and to give more importance to our the true feeling.
Yeah.
And to ask for the knowing, to ask to know who I am, or
there's a very good saying, and it says, do not bend to power or popularity. Just stick to your true feelings. So what feels right to you?
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And don't let anyone else interfere with that. Don't let anyone upset that. Because you know what's right for you and what feels right. And as long as it's not harming anyone else, it's going to be right. If you've got something that's like telling you to harm someone, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
The feeling will feel right to you, but it'll be a feeling that doesn't express anything towards anyone else. It's right for you.
Understand. That's nice point, Craig. Yeah.
Yeah.
I follow my mind or whatever, and if whatever that I think, if it's not going to bother anyone or if it's not going to hurt anyone, it's right, it's good, go ahead.
Yeah, and don't let anyone persuade you anything else.
Understand.
Because if you do that, you're giving your power away, and that's not a good place to do. That's very dangerous, in fact.
Yeah,
that's not something you should do.
Okay.
But we tend to do it, but we shouldn't do it. Yeah.
What the right moment now, I speaking with you, what I feel now, which is maybe good for me, is I want to know who I am, the self-realization.
Yeah.
So from your experience, I could see meditation helped you.
Oh, massively.
Massively.
Yeah. But I give you one of my earliest experiences there, and they're very early, so I'll skip 8 years of other experiences and go to an experience I had about 3 years ago. I just recently come back from India. I'd been very ill just before I went to India. I was, and this is a long story, but I won't go into that now because it's quite a long story and it's got a lot to do with what we're talking about. Maybe leave it for another time. We've got lots of experience we can talk about, but same thing. I went to sit down to meditate as normal, and I closed my eyes. And I don't know how long I was in this light, because I'd always seen the light come. I'd experienced light at least 2 occasions before this, but I always seen it arrive and go. And this time I didn't see it arrive. I just seen it like just go, sort of thing. And what I'd seen, I can't explain in words. I don't even know what I'd seen. But I was totally stunned. So I'd come out the meditation, but I was as if someone had hit me with a stun gun. I couldn't move, I couldn't do nothing. I was just absolutely stunned. And then a little matchstick man appeared in my mind. And 2 chevrons, so like 2 V's, you know, like you had a V.
Yeah.
And you put on a side, 2 of them. Matchstick man, 2 of these V's. And the 2 V's started hopping away. And this matchstick man started running after them. And then a wall appeared. So there's a wall there, these 2 upside V's, these 2 chevrons, and this was me. This matchstick man's me. And these 2 V's had nowhere else to go. And next minute, they just into nothing. And the wall into nothing. And then I went into nothing. And my mind totally collapsed.
Okay.
Everything went even the spirituality. I used to meditate then, all day, every day. If I wasn't meditating, I was thinking about when I'm finished it, I'm going to meditate. I was that passionate about it. And when it was quite strange. Well, it wasn't strange, it was just what it was. I couldn't stop laughing for a week or 10 days. Every time I tried to think, I just burst out laughing. How ridiculous I'd been. You know, it was just... And then I started feeling embarrassed. I felt embarrassed that I couldn't see what I could see now. How could I not know the evidence, the same thing. It was just that, it was that much of a shock. But that, after the embarrassment and the laughter went, I got angry with myself for a bit, because I thought, why have I put myself through the hell for 50 years? You know what I mean? Why did I do that to myself? You know what I mean? But it was all that brought me to this. And I realised that after the anger settled down, I was sort of back to being lost. It was very strange. Don't you think? You know, I don't want to say the word enlightened, because that's a ridiculous word. I don't think there's ever been anyone enlightened, because there's no one to be enlightened, you know what I mean? But let's just use that word for a moment. I used to think enlightenment would be a fantastic thing, and then I had this happen and my mind totally collapsed. So that's obviously quite a moment, isn't it? But I was like, the best way to put it, I was totally lost. I just nothing mattered anymore. It was all my spiritual practice, everything was gone. And this is why I'm saying don't rush your journey. Don't rush that journey, because that journey, from that first time to this moment, was the most wonderful journey I've used. So I wouldn't give that up. That just, it's a magical journey. So for a few months I just got lost. I was just lost in myself. I just didn't know. I used to have people that come to me and talk about spirituality, and I fell out with them all. I didn't want to speak about it no more. They'd say what about this and that, and I say, oh, it doesn't matter. Because it didn't matter to me anymore. I was just I was totally shocked at what I'd seen. It took everything, absolutely everything, just wiped the slate clean, just everything, all of it went, all the spirituality, everything went, just oomph. It's all a concept, just get rid of it all. So I was lost, and then after it must have been about 7-8 months, I started thinking, well, why did this happen? Why did this all, how's it all come about? So then that was my next goal, and now I wanted to get to the source of all thoughts. I wanted to know where these thoughts come from and how did they start.
Exactly. Took it as a challenge and to see the lesson.
This was my next challenge then. I just went, not so much meditating, but into contemplation. I started going through how it's come about, and the unknown started showing me things then. I started getting things, seeing things then, and things started happening. And it took me on another journey that lasted about, I don't know, up until recently, it lasted about 3 years altogether. But for the first, I don't know, 10 months or so, I was totally lost. And then for the next 2 years, I went on a journey trying to find out how it all, and it led me to religion and all that. And so if you know when you're in religion, have you ever heard about the mountain? And you have to climb a mountain. You don't have to, or they call it a river, don't you? You've got to cross a river. Yeah. Or climb a mountain. And people keep falling.
Some hard parts.
It's really hard, they say. But no one ever tells you what this mountain is, do they? They just say there's a mountain there.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what that mountain is. That mountain is the personal you, yeah? And once you crack your personal you, get through personal you, and you get enlightened to that you're not this personal you, that you're a much bigger entity, you're still not free of your mind, because you took all these cultural thoughts on, and this cultural thoughts have built you up as well.
Okay.
And then so you have to get through them, and then the historical thoughts. So this mountain is you, the personal, the cultural, and the historical. And it's like working your way back down the mountain, seeing how you created yourself.
Okay.
And then when you get to the end, you're clear of, you know without knowing anything, because I would never claim that I know anything. All I can ever give you is my experience of what's happening, you know what I mean? But I certainly don't know about, I don't know.
The fancy word like enlightenment or whatever.
I certainly don't know things that I could say, I'm enlightened. I know that's no, not at all. Not at all. I can just talk about my experiences, and this is what my experiences show me.
True.
But that it led me to a church, funny enough. And it was a spiritual church. And I won't say the name because we still practice. But I knew something was going to go on. I'd been to this church before I'd gone to India. And my mate invited me. And I went to see this man. Now, I just told you about a really good healing there in India, didn't I?
Yeah.
Well, I went to see this man in this church, in this spiritual church. And he's telling me about all these healings. And he asked me why I'd come. He named all these things, negative things, and I said, no, I don't do any of them. So he said to me, why have you come? And I said, my friend just said, yes, should come and speak to you. And so I'm here. And I felt a bit embarrassed in a way. I thought, why have I come? You know what I mean? It was just my friend. I just went, because I didn't think, I just went to him. And he turned around and said, I do healings. I said, oh, all right, I'll have a healing on my lungs. And he gave me a healing. And I ended up in hospital in intensive care, really, really sick. But not long after the healing, I was getting told that I couldn't go to hospital. I couldn't get any doctors. I couldn't take any medication. I had to get myself right to the brink of death before I allowed myself to get treated. So I had this chest infection. And I started getting really ill with it. And obviously my family were concerned, but I couldn't say to my family, no, I can't get help yet. I've got to wait for a certain time. You know, it was really important that I had to wait till this certain time. Now, that might sound strange to you, but this is how much trust I have in what I'm getting told. I've told you a couple of things about my intuition, how good it is.
Yeah.
So my intuition's really strong. And it was saying, no help. And the doctor come out because I was so ill. The family just got the doctor and he gave me tablets. And I just pretended I was taking them, but never took them. So I was getting sick and I got that sick in the end. I went into an unconscious state. You know what I mean? So I couldn't decide then what was happening. And I can't remember none of that part. But I was rushed to hospital. You know, in the ambulance, sirens going off, that thing. And when they got there, they said to me family, he's just come round and won't let us work on him. And he said, we're trying to put oxygen in his body, but when we put it into his body, it's turned into poison. And you'll have to get all the family and his friends because he's not going to make it through. He's going to die today, you know what I mean? He's not going to make it through. And I knew I wasn't going to die. And what was strange, Peter, this illness was in this body, but I wasn't suffering it. I know that might sound strange for you. I could see how ill the body was and everyone could see around me. But I wasn't suffering it. It was strange. It was like, I can't describe. It's like that glass and water. Yeah. The water's not the glass, and the glass is not the water.
Yeah.
So that's how it felt to me. I mean, I was ill. I could see I was ill.
So it was not you who were ill, but
the body was really ill. But I wasn't ill. You see what I mean? So, and I couldn't say all this. My family aren't spiritual at all. Yeah. And they just think I was a
madman.
Yeah, just that. Something like that. Ever said things like this. So anyway, I must have come to the right time because I woke up in intensive care, strapped to all these machines. And it's funny, when I woke up, I'll tell you a funny little story. I come round in this ward, in this intensive care ward. And I woke up because a nurse was doing something to me. And I said to her, what's your name? And she said, Mary. I thought I was in heaven. Really thought I was in heaven and Mary was speaking to me. And I told her. And she was a Caribbean woman from the Caribbean. And her laugh just filled me with joy. She had the most wonderful laugh. But yeah, I thought I was in heaven. No, I was semi-conscious when I come round. But anyway, I come round. And within a week, I was out of the hospital. And then about 2 weeks later, I went to India and sat on the beach for a month and recovered in India.
Wow.
Yeah. But after that, I got directed back to this church. Now, I didn't want to go back to this church. And I was saying to my intuition, why you send me back to this church? Because I'll be honest with you, when used to read from the Bible, and the only good thing about this church that you turn the lights off, we don't meditate together for 30 minutes, and that was great. I loved it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But the rest of it was they'd sit and read from the Bible.
Yeah.
But it was like, how can I say it? It was like a child reading from the Bible. There was no meaning what they were saying. They were just reading words off a page.
Yeah.
And I could feel it. There was nothing there. There was no.
Yeah.
There was no connection to what they were saying.
Yeah.
So I was saying to me, why am I going back there? Why are you sending me back there? There's nothing there for me, I was saying. So I was resisting it. But I couldn't resist. I had to go. In the end, I was back. And I went on this day with my friends and all that. And it wasn't, I don't think much happened on that first occasion. I just met them all again and all that. And I was in a space where I really didn't want to take part, but I had no choice because I'd been taken back there and that was it. And then the second time, just before I started getting all this energy in my body. And I couldn't sleep for 48 hours straight. I didn't sleep once for 48 hours, but I wasn't tired. I was just full of this energy. Oh. And I knew something was going to happen. I knew something was going to happen with this one. And they used to have this special night on a Tuesday, and it was called the Inner Sanctum. And on this night, the spirit that they used to pray to would come and speak to them. And he'd tell them all personal stuff, like stuff that they could connect to. But they didn't have it on a Monday, because Monday was just a normal night, and you had to be going to this church for a long time before you were allowed to go into the Inner Sanctum on the Tuesday. But I knew what was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen on this Monday, the night I was going, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And this is only the second time I've gone back. So I goes, and they said, this is what happened. They said, we've had word that it's going to happen tonight. But we've also been told, because you just ask questions to the spirit. And they said, no one can ask questions and all this. So I knew what was going to happen before it happened. But I knew, so I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I just knew something was going to happen. So we're sitting around in the inside, the lights get switched out, and the spirit starts speaking through someone.
Yeah.
And he said, there's someone in here tonight that I'm going to speak to. It's only him. I wanted to ask a question. And you can guess who it was, me. And he asked me, he said, you've got a question for me? And I didn't have a question for him. Like trying to scratch my head, I haven't got a question. But he's saying I have got a question for him, but I couldn't think of what I thought. Okay. I haven't got a question, so I couldn't think of what I thought. So what I said, I talked about fear. I said, I can't think of the name of the walls now. There's a story in the Bible where they go around blowing the bugles and the walls fall down. What's that story? Anyway, it's a story in the Bible where they go around, they blow the bugles. I think it's for 7 days, and they got the Ark of the Covenant with them, and the walls all collapse around the city. And so I spoke about that, and I said, them walls aren't made of stone, they're made of fear. And he turned around and said, you know, you've got a great mind, you know, to come up with this sort of thing like that. And it really, it didn't cheer me up in any way, because I thought, what am I speaking to? Because if this spirit really knew what he was saying, then surely he'd know it wasn't my mind. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it was like a big, it was a big no-no to me. And afterwards everyone was going, oh, the way and all this, yeah. But I just seen it as like a falsehood. It didn't mean nothing to me, because I didn't feel there was any depth in what was getting said. So I went home, you know, they invited me back. That was the final time I went back a couple of days later. And they're doing the normal stuff, and they go into a prayer session and ask me to say their prayers. And I said, I'm not saying your prayers. I'm not praying to you pray to. I said, my spirit lives within me, and the only spirit I pray to is the spirit that lives within. And they were shocked. They go, no, there's 30 people here going, no, you've got to pray. And I said, I'm not praying. And he said to me, why aren't you praying? And I said, well, I don't fear nothing in this world, and I don't desire nothing. So why would I pray? What's the use of me praying? I've got nothing to pray for, you know what I mean? I'm not going to pray. And they were really shocked by this, and long story short, they got really upset because I started saying things to them then. Yeah. And I started, what they were saying, because they were challenging me, I was just taking apart what they were saying, if you see what I mean. Mm-hmm. And what I said to them in the end, I said, listen, we're sitting in a room here and there's 30 people, and you're seeing 30 people, but I said, I'm not seeing 30 people. I'm seeing one spirit with 30 masks, and he's playing all these different parts. Do you know what I mean? And that was how, this is religion for you. You know what I mean? A group getting together and making themselves known on an individual, and then you take that on. And that's what I was getting shown. But it goes on a bit longer, that story. I met the man that used to read the Bible a couple of times after that. And their understanding was a bit all over the place, I thought. Like, but that's what it was the last time I went back. But yeah.
Yeah, I find also a bit, how to say, worried about, the churches are here in the UK especially. Because I was in France before moving to the UK. There, the churches are always left open. And, I'm not aligned with the prayers and stuff. I think the way all it's happening these days are keeping you constant of thinking or constant in your emotion, which is not at all the part of yourself. And it's not giving you the space. Just go and sit and be in the silence. Yeah. As you said.
Yeah.
And
silence is the connection.
That's what we need, isn't it? All these churches, or I think it should have built in an energetic spot, unconsciously or consciously. It is meant to be a place to just go and be with yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas now in the UK, I think there is no place where you can have and spend time in silence.
But that's because religion's used with governments now, since I think it was Constantine that married into the Catholic Church and created a new form of Christianity, didn't he?
Exactly.
But there was 12 disciples, but he got rid of 8 books of the disciples and just kept the 4 he liked. And it's just a corruption. So original in its first true teachings is pure and good, and it's that.
Yeah, now
it's contemplation. Jesus, what did Jesus say? The temple's inside you. Yeah, so to give your power away to someone else is not good, especially spiritually. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. But I also found out after I got ill from that man's healing, that the spirit, his guide that he was going to, had killed 500 men and was quite proud of telling them all this. And I was thinking, wouldn't you have learned from that? Wouldn't you? Surely it wouldn't be something that you'd be quite proud of, or telling your congregation that I used to be a mass murderer, and I was quite. So I think they were. I think, I don't know. I don't believe there's no true evil, but I think they were a very misguided congregation. And when I was there, they used to say, we're special. This is a special place. We're a special church. I'd be sitting there thinking, I can't see nothing special myself. But so I think they had the attitude, and I think a lot of religion has that, and that's what I was being shown by going to that church. Each religion is saying that we're the one, and God is the one, and you can only get to our God, the true God through us. And I think that's what it was showing me. But I'm not insulting any religions, because I think me
neither. Like, I've been born and brought up in a Catholic family, raised as a church goer every Saturday, every Sundays. But at one point I started putting questions like, if God has created you and God knows what to give you at what time, what moment, what's the need for you to keep on asking him something?
That's
you believe in God, just keep quiet. If you not believe in God, you are keep on going to disturb him, asking, give me this, give me that.
Well, if in the sound you're listening to God, even though you don't hear the words getting spoken to you.
Exactly.
They come up through you, and you've experienced them.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what it's about.
We are not letting him to speak, whereas we are speaking constantly. We are not ready to listen.
Perfect. That's you couldn't be more descriptive than them words you've just said.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
And that's in us all. We don't need to go anywhere. Yeah. I remember writing something. I write all the time. If you see me phone,
yeah,
I have a thing in it, and it's just full. And if you open any one of them up, there's dozens on each one, and it's just things that come to me, and I write them down. But I remember writing one thing down in there, and I was just joking myself because a lot of it's amusing and funny, and it's like a little joke. What's the difference between a Zen Buddhist monk sitting in a cave for 20 years in the Himalayas, or a Westerner sitting on his couch watching the TV for 20 years? What's the difference between the two?
Yeah, what?
There is no difference.
There is no difference, okay.
It's just life.
Yeah.
Living as a Westerner watching the TV, or living as a Buddhist monk. There's no higher or lower.
Same, yeah.
It's exactly the same thing, but it's just having two different experiences.
Funny, isn't it? Like, take for example a mango tree and an apple tree.
Yeah.
And which tree is superior or which tree is inferior? It's just different, or it's just two things.
Yeah.
Both have same, how to say, equality or the respect. Nothing is superior or nothing is inferior.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. There's no higher or lower.
Same.
I've walked this earth for 60 years and I've yet to meet anyone that's higher or lower than myself.
True.
And I fully believe that.
Yeah.
You can be the lowest person, or you can be the highest person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're all equal. There's no...
Exactly.
And through your life, you'll go through different stages where you're being quite low or quite high. And that's the back and forth of life, you know what I mean? That's just the way we grow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We make them mistakes and we grow from them. Well, if we make them and don't grow from them, we keep making them. And things get tougher and tougher.
Take time, right?
Yeah.
Superb. Thanks a lot for this wonderful, experience sharing. If you are hungry, this nice guacamole and crisps. Afterwards, nice biryanis, I prepared.
Yeah.
We can have a meal.
Yeah.
And thanks for today. I think that.
Well, thanks for you, because I enjoyed talking at it. Yeah, I don't talk to anyone like the way I talk, but I just don't speak to people. I don't. This is what I'm saying to you. I don't usually send anyone my work to do it, because I've sent you bits of work and I've spoken to you, but I've never done that before. You know what I mean? When I first got into it, like yourself, when you first get open to it, you want to, because it changes you. You want to give this change to other people, but you're not ready to do that. You just might think you are.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if I'm ready to. Is it right? You know.
That's what. Yeah.
And as you said, as we were speaking, unless it is not harming anyone else, whatever you are thinking is right. So go ahead.
Yeah.
So that's what now I am up to, right?
Yeah. And don't let anyone deflect you. Yeah. That's the best advice I could give you.
Exactly. And how to say, you said that, and I am, my consciousness or it's saying, yeah, it is right.
Yeah.
Only then I am going.
Follow it.
Not just because you said it should be right. No.
Yeah. No. It's got to be right for you.
Exactly. Then only I will be satisfied. If not.
Well, if it's not right for you, how could it be right for anyone else? So if it feels right, do it. If it's not harming anyone or harming anything, follow it through, and don't be shy about it. Because I'm a really shy man, you know what I mean? So it's so nice to sit here and just open up to you about things, you know what I mean? Yeah. Nice to talk. I haven't spoken to them, especially I haven't spoken to any of them, to be honest. But I write, so like that's my hobby. I like to write. So all my conversations over the last 10 years have been on a piece of paper, and that's how I've connected with my soul through my writing.
It's now time to come out. You have now this medium, this nice medium, and please do come regularly, Craig, and share your wisdom. And
if you're happy to have me,
of course,
I feel totally comfortable in your company, and you shouldn't forget about that, don't you? It was just a nice chat to have with you. Yeah, so I enjoyed it.
Super. Thanks a lot, Craig, and thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And videos are keep on going to come regularly, and having this information, we grow ourselves, and it is how to say, be in this blissfulness or happiness. Cheers all. See you.